gonna start. And I'm gonna start. Perfect. Well, hi everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our Monday training. Here's with us Angela Rodriguez, and we're gonna talk about really good techniques for our social media. We're going to talk about products. She's going to give us a lot of tips. So be sure you have a pen and it's either a notebook, a piece of paper, or even a napkin so you can write down all of this amazing tips that Angela is going to talk to us about. Go ahead, Angela. Hi.
Yeah. Morning, everybody. Yeah, it's November 14th already. Isn't that crazy? So let's talk about some ways to push our business forward this month. We have about half of a month to go. Make sure that we're doing lots of different creative ideas to get your business where you want it to be at the end of this month. I know we all have goals and we have to be creative in trying new things to get there. So for our agenda today, we're going to do a product spotlight on Body Balm. As you know, two of the presentations of that, the spray and the regular bottle, are on promo, so we want to make sure we go through that. We're going to go through a few different business resources that help us be the product of our product and keep track of some important stats that help drive our business. And we're going to also talk a little bit more about creating Instagram stories and some tips and tricks for that. I know a lot of you already do that, but sometimes there's a few extra tools or things like that that you haven't thought of, or you might be trying it for the first time. We've been kind of talking about Instagram stories, and we wanted to take a moment to step back and give some more specific tutorials on that. So our product spotlight right now is Body Balm. This is one of Youth's top sellers. It's used for so many different things. Its primary ingredients are arnica and witch hazel. Witch hazel is also hamamelis extract. Those two are working together to do a lot of different functions for our skin, to refresh and reduce that inflammation, help with bruising, things like that. But you'll notice that there are also a lot of secondary ingredients in this body balm, and there's a lot of calming elements like chamomile extract and sage extract, neroli fragrance, things like that, melissa extract. So there's a lot of other ingredients in this product that help it be calming for our skin and also a little bit for our souls, right? Arnica and witch hazel are going to work together to do their magic in this product. And it does come in these three different presentations of the regular bottle. This is like a squirt bottle, right? So you're going to squeeze and it squirts out from the top. We have the spray, which is limited edition, and we have the gel that is limited edition. A lot of people like these for different things. For example, the main bottle is really nice for if you're going to be applying this like to your hand with other products and mixing them together. That the main bottle is really nice. The spray, I love this for bug bites because I can spray it right on without having to rub it in. And for my back, this is like itchy back season in Wisconsin right now, right? We all get dry skin. And I love that I can spray it on myself and I'm able to reach more easily with the spray. And also if you're using this with other people, it's easier to spray it on versus having to like rub it on them, right? And the gel is really nice. A lot of us have this in our purse because then it is not, it's, we don't have to worry about leaking and things like that because it's in a more kind of solid texture, right? So I've never had the other ones leak either, but it's just, I think I have a little bit more confidence with the gel. And I like how the gel kind of leaves like a different sensation on your skin because it's like a coating. I love that for bug bites. I keep that in my purse all the time when we go out and walk on trails and things like that in the summer, so that we can put it on bug bites. But they all have those same key ingredients and these primary uses. So Body Balm helps stimulate our circulation. When we put that on before other used products, it's going to help improve the absorption of them. It reduces bruising because of those same effects, and it's going to ease discomfort from insect bites and stings. It's also good to massage for muscle cramps and sore muscles. And one that we often forget about, or I do at least, is that it's also helpful, like when you get, when you need like a moment of stimulation or refreshment, when you're fatigued. A lot of people use this after a long drive, or also for hot flashes. So a lot of people will leave this on their nightstand for when they get hot flashes in the middle of the night to be able to kind of cool and refresh their skin. So it has tons of different uses. I have a friend who uses this for everything because she has her family, they have really sensitive skin because her boys are redheads with really fair skin. And so they are always burnt and their skin reacts to everything. So, so she uses this all the time. And so when we're using this for body care, it works really well in combination with some of our other body care items. So if you have sore muscles and you want more of a warming effect on those, we apply body balm, and then follow that up with juniper with a couple drops of 31 herbal oil into that to help relax those muscles. That also works for body pain for a lot of people. If you have people who talk about chronic pains like in their joints, arnica gel is great for that. So again, you would have them first apply body balm and then arnica gel, and have them add a couple of drops of the 31 herbal oil into the arnica gel before they apply it to help with that pain relieving element. And then comfrey gel is used for a lot of different types of pain, like muscle and joint, and also specifically like tendon and ligament pain. So people who are runners or athletes that tend to get just like like a pulled ligament or a pulled muscle, things like that. They like to have this on hand for using before or after exercise. And again, that same process, have them apply body balm, comfrey gel, and they can add a couple of drops of 31 herbal oil to that as well. We also use this, a lot of us use this for cold compress. So if someone has a bad, like a bad bump, like I'm thinking of my mother-in-law last year she fell on both of her knees on like a cement walkway. And so both of her knees had a really bad hit, right? And so she said she used body balm from the start, and she cannot believe how much it controlled the aching and bruising, even though it was a bad hit on her knees. So she used body balm every day. You can also, if someone has like a bad, like a fall or something like that, and they're worried about a lot of bruising, you can also have them do a cold compress where they take a little, I was going to bring a dish of water down and I forgot. But you take a glass dish, squirt a little bit of body balm in it, just like a squirt of it is fine. They can add a couple of drops of lavender to that as well, which is also soothing. Have them put in a couple of ice cubes and just pour a little water in it. They don't need a lot. It doesn't have to be like a full dish of water. So you take that and you just take a washcloth, put it in that nice cold water, and then they can put the washcloth on their where they have the bruising. A lot of us also use this in a cold compress for headaches. So a small amount of body balm, a few drops of herbal or the 31 herbal oil, and again, put in some ice cubes, put in some water, take a washcloth in that and put it on your forehead or on the back of your neck. And that helps a lot with headaches. So talk to your sponsors as well. They might have some other tips and tricks, but these are some basic combinations that you can also work with your customers. So let us know if you have questions about body balm, but I'm going to move on to business tools. So we want to just help you with a few business tools that are going to help you be the product of your product. And you've seen this, I'm sure. The company will send us out some special treats for consultants. That's called being the product of your product, because it's really true, and it's kind of a driving force behind our business, right? When we are using the products and we see we know how they smell, we know how they feel, we know we know their effects, we know what they combine well with, etc. By being the product of your product, you give yourself so much credibility in your business, because you are able to share your own testimonials. You're able to give really specific descriptions. I know a lot of us do virtual events right now. Oh my gosh. And to do aromatherapy virtually, you have to be very good at describing what it is that you're applying in your demos and things like that. So having them at home with you to demonstrate and describe is really important. So it gives you that credibility of, I love these products. I love them enough to own them. I use them all the time in my daily routine for me and my family. And also it just helps you, how could I say, you're the expert that way. So for example, I spent my first year consulting, like little at a time, building my collection to the point where I have almost everything, right? Like it was on sale. It was, I needed it for a certain need at my home, things like that. I would build my collection a little at a time so that people now, I just did a one-on-one shopping appointment, right? Via telephone yesterday. And I can talk to a customer for, 30 minutes to an hour and just kind of ask questions. And I feel like any need that she brings up, I have an idea for it. And I can give her a testimonial of how I use it at home or how a friend uses it, how my family, I have lots of stories to tell while I am sharing the product with her, because I own it and use it and love it. So think about what are your goals for yourself of being the product of your product. We don't all have to own the entire used collection, but you do want to have, products at home where you can demonstrate a variety of uses for your customers, and just try to incorporate more into your own routine, because you will feel better, you will look better, and you will have that mindset that you can share with other people. So a few of our tools that we already have available to us are like our needs cards. So like I said, it's important to work towards being a product expert, because then as people are grabbing these needs cards and telling you about things that they have, you're able to respond, right? If at any point you're not, check with your sponsor, check with our resources, that's okay. But we want to be able to be that expert who answers their questions. But we also tend to gear towards, and I know I do this as well, we promote the products that we use and love the most. Tell me in the chat if you agree with that. What are some of your products that you tend to really focus on? You're like, ooh, I hope they have this need because I have like 10 ideas for this need, right? What are some of the products or needs that you really focus on in your business, because they are important to you and they are important to your customers? And while you're writing that, I'm going to share a couple of needs cards that are usually really important in my business. I am a mother of small children, and that can have a lot of stress, right? And so can working full time. And so I feel like a need for me is I want to try to be my best, calmest self for my little kids, right? So for me, talking about the tranquility that I get from aromatherapy is really important. So I'll often talk about lavender, orange, and palmarosa in my diffuser. I'll talk about using the anti-stress blend. I'll talk about using Guducci for fatigue, things like that. So I talk about using aromatherapy to help myself keep an even keel, right? Also, since I have small children, we get sick on a regular basis because they just bring home a lot of germs from school, and they go into different schools, and it can be a lot. So I also talk a lot about respiratory care, and that is, I talk about Eucosol and Thyme Cream and the bath essences and things for the diffuser. Those are focus areas for me in my business. So take a moment it's okay to have those focus areas, because we all want to work towards a niche where we are working towards, we can't talk about all the needs all the time. So having a few that you bring up regularly with your customers, that's okay. A lot of your customers will need to hear those different messages in different ways multiple times before it clicks that like, oh, maybe I want to try that. So don't be afraid to have your niche, but also try to expand out a little bit so that you can be that product expert who can answer their questions quickly. Another thing that we use that can help drive our business and help in terms of like refilling products and taking and kind of doing some reflection of like, what are the products that I talk about and sell the most, is by using our product reports that we have in Virtual Office. Tell us in the chat if you already use these regularly. A lot of us do this, like we'll look up what did we sell in November last year and who bought it. And we can follow up with those people this year and see if they need a refill, if they have any questions, things like that. So the product reports, if you are in your Virtual Office, you go to Reports and Product Sales History. Okay, Reports, Product Sales History. And from there, you're going to get a screen that looks kind of like this, where you can put in, okay, what period do you want your data from? So put in a start date and an end date. You might want to just look at November last year, right? 11/1/2021, 11/30/2021, or something like that, right? So think about what is the period of time you're checking your stats for. And then make sure you click on include non-spa retail orders so that you see what people have just bought from your personal website as well. And then click on generate. And what you'll get is a long list of all the products that you sold during that time period. Now, when you go to one of those specific products on the list, you'll see there's a little plus button. and you can click on that plus button and you will see a list. It like drops down with a list of customers who have bought it. So one thing that I want you to notice is that sometimes it'll say guest checkout. That means that a customer bought from my personal website, but they decided not to create an account. That I'm like, yay for sales, but for me, that's not the best situation for my business, because now I don't know who bought it and I don't know why, and I can't remember the conversation that I had with them, things like that. So on the other hand, you'll see names of people who did sign up as retail customers who have an account on my website, and now I know who to follow up with specifically. Does that make sense? So that's also, we wanted to talk about that a little bit today, is the importance of having your customers create an account on your website. Take a few moments to think, how can you encourage that every time you have a conversation with a customer, whether you're talking to them over the phone, you meet them at a wellness fair, you meet them at a spa, things like that. Always incorporate, as you're telling them, you go to this website, you click here, you click there, always add into that routine, have them create an account. And I often tell my customers, like, would you like to create an account on my website so that we have access to your order history later on? Because, for example, I had the customer I was talking to yesterday, my one-on-one shopping appointment. She said, oh yeah, I remember last time we didn't create an account because I wanted to try out the products first. But during that same conversation, we had questions. I said, I think you got Gucci last time. And she, no, I don't think I have that at home. And we had this like doubt where I could have just, if we had set up her account right away, I could have just looked it up and said, okay, here's what you had last time. Let me make sure you know how to use all of that. You don't have any questions at this point. You know, it's such a wealth of information. So please, please, please encourage your customers, new and existing, to create an account so that they have a customer number and you have a detailed history of their orders. And also, one way to do that, if you're looking for a way to encourage your existing customers or your new customers to create an account, is by reminding them that they can use an app to order when they have an account. So you probably have heard of our PCC app, right? We have an app that we promote for our preferred customer club, where our preferred customer clubs have their preferred customer club members have their customer number, their ID, and they have a password, and they log in, and this app knows that they are a preferred customer. As they shop, it gives them their 10% discount. It has a little dashboard like our consultant app that tells them if they have used dollars to use and things like that. So that app is designed for our PCC. However, all registered customers may use it. If they have a customer ID and a password, they can log into this app. The only difference is that when they log into this app, their prices are going to reflect their status as a customer. If they are a regular retail customer, they're going to see the regular retail prices and current promos, right? If they are a PCC customer, they will see their 10% discount and any other special PCC promos. So just know that you can encourage this app for all of your customers, and their prices will just reflect their status, which is really cool. And I think, and if you check the chat, there's a little link in there. Thank you, Cynthia. There's a little link that you can copy and paste to share it really easily with your customers. It will take them to a little website where they can, like a little page where they can choose the Android or iPhone version of the app and download it. And all they have to do is sign in and they can start shopping. So this is also beneficial to us because I think of it as like, okay, so now once they have the app, they have a visual reminder on their phone, on their screen about our company, right? So as they're looking through like, oh, I'm looking for whatever other app, and Used pops up on their screen, they're like, oh yeah, I kind of want to refill on my chamomile hand cream or something. So it's good to have that visual reminder, but it's also really easy for them to order then, right? Just like how we can order as consultants on our business app by clicking that little shopping cart at the bottom. They can do the same thing. So instead of having to be like, oh, I'm going to get to, Facebook where I'm in that group and then I have to find the link and then I have to do, like, they just have it on their app. They click the shopping cart and they're in on your website. So it's really, really easy and it's definitely to our benefit. So think of, are there some ways where you can just personally message out that little link and say, hey, just to let you know, we have an app that makes shopping a little bit easier. Would you like me to show you how to use it really quickly? And try to encourage your customers to do so. Okay. If you have any questions about that, let us know in the chat, but it's a great tool to take advantage of. It's an incentive for our PCC customers, but it also has great value for all of our registered customers. Okay, so those are your business tools for this week. I also want to share a few social media tips. Like I said, we're going to focus on Instagram stories today. So tell us in the chat if you already create stories on Instagram. I'm friends with some of you already on Facebook and Instagram and get to see them, which is nice. But all you have to do to create a story on Instagram, think of stories as like little snippets of our lives that we're sharing, right? Now, it doesn't have to be your personal life. It can be from your business or how you're using the products and things like that. But think of stories tend to be a little bit more informal. They tend to be brief. They're set up to be about 15 seconds long, and they only last for 24 hours. This is a cool way to connect with your audience because, you know, as they look through stories, if they're interested in what they first see on your story, they can click on it and see the next thing that you have in that story, right? And they can click through your materials kind of in order, but it's one at a time. Isn't that great for our attention span? And then they can also message you privately right from your story. So by clicking on your story, reacting to it, and they can message you specifically versus having a public comment, it sends a direct message to us, which I think is really beneficial. I use this a lot on my personal page and on my business page. So when you want to create a story on Instagram for your business, just go to your business page in Instagram. I highly recommend that you have that connected with Facebook so that you can post your story from Instagram to Instagram and to Facebook, your business page in Facebook as well. It saves you a lot of time. So click on this little plus button at the home page of your Instagram account, and then you will see the option to create different things. You can create a reel if you want a video that's going to be posted with your business page, or a post, which would be more like an image that you're posting, right? A story or a story highlight. So here I'm going to click on story. This is going to be just like the 24-hour story that is there for 24 hours and then it's archived. If I want a story highlight that stays on my account for longer, I would click that so that it stays on these little highlights under my account. Does that make sense? So today we're going to, I'll review that at the end as well. So today I'm just going to click on story, and then I have different options. I can either create a video or image for my story right then and there using my camera, okay? And I also have the option to pick videos or images that I have already made out of my, what is this called in English, out of my camera roll. I could only think of the Spanish word for a second. And just make sure that if you are going to record these, you know, beforehand or in the spot, always clean your camera first. So just take a minute. Our phones get touched a lot. So just take a minute with your clothing, or some people will do it with their finger, but I feel like that has some oils on it too, right? So just take some soft clothing and wipe off your camera, whichever one you're going to use, so that you get the clearest, highest quality picture, okay? So that's what we do so far. We click on the plus, we select story, and we either create the content on the spot or we choose from something we've already recorded. Sorry for my random like coffee faces. This was something I was using for a reel that I made for TikTok. I made a TikTok yesterday about fatigue and Guducci. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I tried to make a video to show you kind of the process, what it looks like as I'm clicking on things. So this will be a little bit choppy because I'll play and pause. But as okay, so I clicked plus, I clicked story, and now I'm going to select the different content that I want to use. Oh, and sorry, I think I forgot one thing on the previous one. You will notice that it also has this little option where it says select with multiple. So if you want a story that has like 5 different images or 5 different short videos or something like that, you just hit select and then you click on them in order that you want them to show up in your story, so that people can click as they touch your story, as they click on your story, the next image pops up. Does that make sense? So use that select button whenever you have multiple media formats that you want to add into one story. Okay, so let's go to the video here. So once I've clicked plus and I've clicked story and I'm in my camera roll here, I'm just going to click on I'm going to do a video clip, right? Here's my Frida coffee mug I'm drinking because there's not enough coffee in the world. We need some Guducci, right? So then I'm going to add some text to my story by clicking on this little text icon at the top. So it's, for a lot of us, think of it as like when people are going through stories, it's not always with their sound on. So it's important to have some text on your story, even if you're talking in it or something like that, have some text that kind of draws your audience in. Yeah. So click on the text button and add a caption that is going to go with your story. Okay, so then you just grab it with your fingers and you can resize it and reposition it. You can also click on these options at the top. If you click on the text that you wrote, you'll see some options to change the formatting, if it's centered, if it's to the side, etc. You can change color options. You can change the animations to it and spacing and things like that. So you can play around with that and find what's best for you. You'll also notice different font options that you can choose. And I don't know if it shows up on this screen, but I can also choose like if I just want my words or if I want like a frame around them. So take some time today, if you have not played around with that, and do some clicking on the different formats so that you know where they are and how much you can customize that aspect of your story. Okay, so here I'm rearranging. I also, let me see if this is always hard to get it to stop where I want it to. I also have the option then, once I have that text on there, I'll go back to my regular story options of, do I want to turn the sound off on this story? Do I want to add a sticker? We've talked about those a lot in our webinars. Do I want to add a sticker to my story, maybe with the link, a direct link to a product from my personal website by using that little link icon that's underneath items, all the different products on my personal website? Do I want to use a filter? These three little stars here at the top help me choose a filter or different effects for my video. So when I click on that filter, I just go through the bottom and see what is a look that I like to make my video look different. Sometimes I'll do the filter on my phone before I even upload the video, but you have access to all of that. Okay, so find a filter. It doesn't have to be too obnoxious, right? But you want something that fits the message of your reel or your story, sorry, and there you go. Now remember, you also have this other icon up here that has like a little face in a square. And that is for you to add different stickers. That's a great way to get people to interact with your story. So you'll see there are like this, there's an emoji that they can drag for how much they love something. You can post, do you want them to ask you questions about something? You can also add that product link and things like that. So I would keep stickers to a minimum. I would normally do, you could do like one link or one poll, one Q&A, things like that. But try to put something on your video that people can easily interact with. That's the cool thing about stories, is they're so quick, they're so easy, and it's fun for people to just like quickly tap on your poll or quickly type in a question or quickly message you a sticker of something that they love. So it's a really fun way to connect with your audience. And then you're going to see, as you are done with that, you're going to be able to share. Make sure you play it through and make sure all the effects that you've tried have done what you wanted them to, right? Especially the first few times. And then you're going to be able to share. Now I share to my Instagram story and also to my Facebook story. So you'll notice that's already selected on my account. But if this is the first time, it might pop up asking you if you want to connect to Instagram and Facebook, and you just click yes, and it's as easy as that. So once you've created your content, share it to both. Why do that work twice? And you're good to go. Let us know in the chat if you have questions about that process so far. And just to recap then, we share it to both stories. Look at Cesar's on my Instagram, isn't that cool? And then you'll see at the top of your Instagram, homepage, you'll see the stories at the top, and you just click on your own if you want to see your own and how it turned out. And you can click on other people's stories and react that way as well. And like I said, they're only going to be up here for 24 hours. Unless you add them to your story highlights in Instagram. And then they will be able to stay there longer, and they will keep the link to your product for longer. They will keep the polls that you post and things like that. It'll keep all of those elements of your story will stay on your profile for longer. So let's review how to add stories to your highlights. instead of just doing these regular 24-hour stories. And we talked about this, was it last week or the previous week, but I want to go over it one more time. So if you want to create a story, think of it as like, I usually do this for like my used favorites or like the products that I love and talk about the most or something like that. So like maybe chamomile hand cream, body balm, Guducci, anti-stress, 31 herbal oil, right? Like what are the products that I feel like I talk about really often that I want people to have easy access to? And then I just add, I go to story highlight and I create a story that talks about that specific product. And then as I go in, I can click on that story highlight and go to edit cover, give it a short title, give it a picture, like a picture from within my video or a picture of the product. And then that stays on my profile for a longer period of time. So play around with both of those elements today or this week and let us know if you have questions, okay? Now, for our call to action for this week, we want you to sell 5 sets or $600 this month. See how close you are to meeting that goal and message us when you get there. Yes, we love to hear that. We love to see the things that you're doing to get there as well. Create daily stories in Instagram and add some of those select stories to your highlights. That's a great place to start with that social media. Any questions, just let us know. But otherwise, we hope you have a great week, a great productive second half of this month, and we wish you well.